Dude, we're live. Dallin, what's up, man?
Not much, just hanging out. How are you guys?
Doing well. Just hang out in your car. I saw that you are now a meme creator.
Yeah, I'm a meme creator now. It just came to me. It's too easy.
Wad Zombie better watch out.
He's actually the one who made it. I sent him the idea.
Oh, you didn't even make it.
I tagged him.
Where did that come from? Like, what was going on with that?
Well, we were all in the gym, and we got the email because it was the email about the cuts and everything. And then they said there was a new grip standard. So we were looking at it, and I was thinking of all the grips I've used, and I'm like, I know the ones that are super long, but I don't even use those. And then it's but when I jump up on the pull-up bar, all of them look like that. And so we're just making a video, and I was gonna send it to I don't know, my agent, some of my buddies I know. And then I was doing my next piece, and that's the meme I thought of, and I was like, it's perfect.
Yeah, I mean, so the athletes got the package for what to expect at the games, I guess, or what you need for check-in and stuff, or was it just equipment?
Yeah, this one was just, I'm pretty sure they just said stuff about cuts on Saturday and then the new grip standard.
So that's new. What do they provide on the cuts?
I believe it goes to the top 20 after Saturday.
Top 20 on Saturday. It was 30 last year, right?
Yeah,
it was 30 last year because I agreed with it.
No. It was 30, and then they had one more event on those Saturday morning, or was it Sunday morning?
That was
because they cut the 20 after the toes to bar one.
Dude, they kept 30 the whole way through.
Yeah, last year it was 30.
That was 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You need to watch the documentary.
What are your thoughts on that cut, Dallin?
It doesn't affect me, so.
Like that.
There you go. Yeah. So on these grips, I mean, has anybody reached out to you from CrossFit or any other athletes?
Not from CrossFit, but I believe Brent and Pat are talking with them tomorrow. They already had a call planned, and I was messaging Vellner, and those two are they have the lead on athlete and CrossFit communication. So I appreciate them doing that, but I know Vellner was going to bring this up, and I know Fikowski actually caught that in the email. I think it says 4-inch belt, but it's actually a 5-inch belt in the rule book, and they did send a follow-up email on that, but there's nothing about grips.
Let me ask you, was that your normal grip, or did you use somebody else's that was smaller?
No, that was mine.
Okay, cool.
That's an extra large too.
What's crazy is it says Bear Complex on the one you cannot wear.
That could have been the same person.
Right. Yeah, that's wild.
So, I would say the only ones the only grips that would be past your fingers if your hands were straightened would be maybe the Victory Grip 3-finger ones, just because they're long. But if you put your fingers in them, what's the rule with that? They don't even have anything about if there's finger holes, but no one uses them anyway. But those would be the ones that would be essentially too long. But I still don't think that even gives an unfair advantage. They're just in the way almost.
Yeah.
Do you care that there's a rule, or are you upset that it's a dumb rule?
So here, it's a dumb rule that doesn't make sense in my opinion. And the issue with it is not so much I think I know what they're saying with the standard. They don't want grips too long. But it's not cool when this is the biggest weekend of the year and this is my job, where it's I think I know what they mean. And then because I kind of know what I think they were saying, I guess it was more poking fun at did the person who decided to get this sent or review, did they try on grips, or did they could have talked to any of us that are going to the games and been hey, what do you think about this? And it would have taken 10 seconds. I know everyone thought it as soon as they got the email.
Right.
I had multiple people reach out. I was I was just talking about this. I just tried this. It was if they could have just asked us our thoughts.
Yeah. I mean, was there I mean, just another photo that wasn't around the bar, but just showing like the first view of saying you just can't, without gripping around the bar, you can't be longer than your fingertips.
Yeah, it should have. Yeah, it should have been like 2 pictures of a hand out flat. One of them is short. One of them is long.
Yeah,
like past the fingers.
I don't think there should be a rule on this at all. I think it's dumb that they're trying to dictate how you can grip a bar, or a bar.
Well, the rule should be grips or no grips is what it should be.
No, I mean, if some people are better at cupping it and other people haven't learned how to cup it properly yet, then that's their fault. It's not hard.
Yeah.
As long as there's no dowel, like that's been the rule forever, right?
Yeah,
right.
I don't like you're overcomplicating it.
Well, then where do you put the strap? Like when you wrap it to your wrist, like what if you put it below a wrist, like a wrist sleeve, like a band?
Yeah.
And you
would
just
move it up.
Like, yeah. Does that count?
Right.
Like there's all these little gray areas.
Yeah, if you just moved it up your wrist, right, and so it was longer. Like, are they going to have some?
And then it accidentally slides up, right?
Right. Yeah. During the event. Wad Zombie, Dallin, man. Once you go down this path of making fun of HQ, there's no going back. So.
Have you been blocked by Dave Castro yet, Dallin?
So I mean, going back to training though, I mean, this is crazy. I guess before we do that, was there anything else in that communication from CrossFit beyond the cuts and this equipment that we don't know about yet? That's other than the athletes.
Yeah, I don't
two
think
main
so.
big takeaways.
Yeah.
So how's training been going since semifinals?
It's been a blast. I mean, we just started. Deload was like a week and a half ago, so we're starting like the final cycle where it's like touches on more volume, more sport specific work. So it's nice to have. We had our little block right after semis being week 1, where it was like very normal training for how we do things. And now it's just very sport specific, getting outside, things for time. It's a blast. We have a good crew down here.
How is it still is it you and Danielle doing most of the training together, or is anybody else with you? I know that Emma goes earlier.
Yeah, so Emma and Fee in gym sessions, they're like the group before us, and then it'll be like me, Danielle, and James. Outside the gym, depending on what it is and what we're doing, we'll all do it together. But
yeah. Are you working on more? I guess you said outside stuff. Is it odd object things? Is it new skills? Is it just getting out and doing stuff differently than what you normally have been in the gym?
I wouldn't say. I guess like we do odd objects and strongman and carries, and we've been doing a ton of skill work year round, and so now it's more just like putting them into pieces. But like the outside stuff would be like biking, trail running, field work, swimming, workouts, swimming in general.
Have you heard of any rumors going out there of different types of things that people are expecting?
No, have you guys? That'd be nice to know, right?
It would be. That's the age-old question. Everybody says they hear people that know of it, but nobody wants to admit that they know of it.
I haven't got nothing.
What if we like knew the events and we just told you like 3 of the events and that's legitimately what it was? Like right now, and we just threw it out there live and didn't tell anybody that we knew.
This is the announcement.
We'd get so much trouble. I don't know what they would do because we're not a part of CrossFit, but it would be bad.
Are you guys getting events? Because I know Brian friends sometimes.
He don't know.
I don't actually know.
Don't let him tell you he does.
I think Brian Friend gets some once he's on the production side, but he probably is closer to the actual competition.
2 days before that he might know before you guys know.
Yeah, I mean, you see everybody on Instagram. They're doing rope muscle ups. They're doing different types of freestanding handstand push ups, those types of things. But it feels like every time you see those, it's not what it actually is programmed.
Yeah, it's like everyone has a hunch, and then it's probably something different. Although last year, I think people did pretty good guessing, like the L-sit to handstand, all that stuff. But
how are the skills coming along? Are you spending time with double under crossovers and L-sits to handstand press?
I've been doing skill sessions every day since I did not do great on them at the games. So I've been doing this stuff since like last September, but it's been good.
Yeah.
We'll say that.
Is there anything you wish to see that's like immensely better than last year?
I'd like to get back on the traverse with some dips, upper body pressing. You know.
You got to do the man test. Have you seen that from Kalipa?
Yeah,
Back in the
it's
day?
like what, like 1 to 5, then back down or something.
I think it's just 5 down to 1, but you have to do 5 traverse, 4, 4, 3, 3. Be curious to know. I mean, have you tried that one?
I haven't tried that one specifically, but we've been doing a bunch of stuff.
Yeah. Going to semifinals, what was your initial reaction when you saw those workouts? Was it pretty confident in what was programmed and ready to go, or was there anything that you were maybe a little bit nervous about?
No, those workouts were awesome. I thought they were a great blend between, like, what are the foundational CrossFit, balance, accuracy. Like, we got all that, but we also had to suffer, and like, it was a work capacity test as well. And I was just excited to see. I mean, we're obviously going to get higher skills at the games, but like nothing like hung me up at all. And I felt like my fitness was in a pretty good spot. So,
do you take any, I guess, looking at your placement in semifinals, your performance, does that give you more confidence going into the games, or is it more just I feel good and it's just a checkpoint in the way to the part of the season, I guess?
Yeah, I think it's definitely the checkpoint, but I did well. I beat some good dudes, so I might as well use it as some momentum, ride the wave. Mm-hmm. Like, I was not that, like, I can name a couple spots, and I'm sure everyone can, like, where they messed up and lost a few points, but it wasn't that. Those, like, top four spots probably were not that far apart.
It's tough. You were never outside the top 10 the entire weekend. That's crazy.
It was,
really?
That was the goal based on, like.
You think that's crazy for him to be top 10 the whole week in a semifinal?
I mean, Roman.
That's an insult, Dallin. I would be insulted by that.
I mean, what? 3 athletes did it? It's like me, Emma.
Roman had a 23rd finish. It's like, man, it's incredible. And with
you're talking about event finishes. I thought you meant top 10 over the whole competition. Like from event 1.
No, every event
down.
He was top 10. And
I'm pretty sure the top 3 didn't change like at the end of each day.
Right.
I don't think so. Adler and Hopper were first and second after the first, and then
Do you take? I guess do you beat yourself up about those, or do you just move on from like the mistakes? Because it doesn't really matter in the season, right? Like you've done fine. Obviously, you're going to have some flaws throughout the weekend, but do you ever look back on that, or do you spend any time trying to think back about what you could have done better?
In the moment, I'm not. I got to do the next workout, right, at the next event. But I definitely let things eat at me. I think it's good fuel. So I'll think about everything that happened at the last competition or 2 competitions ago, 3, whatever it needs to be.
When you're training now with James and Danielle, I mean, does it get pretty intense? Like, what's the atmosphere for your group? And maybe how does that compare to what Fee and Emma are doing? Like, how different are the 2 different groups?
Yeah, that's a good question. I know Fee and Emma get along really well, and so it's I think they're both doing their thing. It's probably a little quieter during their session. We have James in our session, so that just makes it louder in general. But I mean, when we have similar stuff, there's like a good push. It's competitive. But we're all just doing our thing. It's a couple like, hey, good work, keep going, or like finishing up a workout or some intervals, and give them a little like, come on now, something simple. But everyone's pretty focused and just doing their thing.
When are you guys? Are you all going up to Madison at the same time, or do you have different plans for what that looks like leading up to the games?
I think Emma is getting there like a day or 2 before most of us. I think Danielle's on our flight like Sunday morning. James and Fee are probably Sunday too, maybe Saturday.
Yeah.
All pretty close.
When is check-in? Is it on Wednesday for you guys?
No, it's Monday.
Monday. Okay.
So
That's early.
yeah, Monday check-in, and then Monday athlete dinner, I think.
Do they have
I
anything
wonder-
Do they have anything
Go ahead.
for you on Tuesday or Wednesday? Or is it just
Not that it
silent?
says.
I wonder
I'm
if
sure
that
it's
means-
like
Go ahead.
fittings, testings, time trials, I'm guessing.
That's what I'm thinking. If they have you there that early, I wonder if that means y'all are gonna do like a lot of funky stuff that you got to
Set
get
up and yeah.
Yeah. That's
'cause
like
that's-
a little bit where you have to get fitted for things and test things to your sizes and all that stuff.
For sure.
Or a
Like more
cyclocross
than the norm.
cyclocross time trial, something like that. I mean, it just
I
seems.
hope it's not that. I hope it's something else than that.
Yeah, I mean, just saying something like that, though, right? Like something that was not part
Yeah.
of the competition. So it seems odd to have them there that early.
Yeah,
So
it is weird.
It's what I think is interesting is I don't remember, like, you remember the Carson athlete dinners, like they would always have these big, like, you know, it was like they would bring out some piece of equipment and Dave would have his speech and you're all going to die kind of thing. But we haven't seen that in the last few years. It's not been a big showcase. So did you guys have that last year?
Yeah, so last year, it was supposed to be like announced by the demo team. There was like this like huge thing that they were gonna do, and then James got COVID or whatever. So like the demo team was like shunned from us.
Right.
But they did have like Boz came out and like hyped up the weekend, and then hyped up this really special workout, and then they played basically clips of the demo team testing the Capitol, and that was what we got announced at the athlete dinner. So like I think there was some of that, and I like had a feel from at least the videos I've seen from Carson dinners, athlete dinners, but there was some of it for sure.
Right. I hope they do it up again, like make sort of a big thing out of it. Are you excited or apprehensive that Dave is back in the mix? Like, because he has a tendency to make more of a gravitas situation out of the whole thing. So do you like that, or does it make you nervous?
I love that Dave's back. I mean, that's what I grew up watching in the sport. I think I saw in his video or something, like Boz is still doing the programming, but I think some things will just run smoothly. Just having Dave around, maybe he has some input in the programming. Either way, I'm just excited to have him back. He's a good face in the sport, and I think he can pull in attention from people that might not care to look.
Yep. Go ahead, John.
I think it's been confirmed that he has influenced some of the tests so far. That is all the details that we know.
Yeah, he shared input or thoughts on the tests or whatever.
Right.
But
Yeah. Awesome. So did you just finish up training for the day?
no, my wife's playing volleyball, so I was watching inside.
Cool.
But
Cool, man. Well, I appreciate you taking a few minutes out of your day. Good luck with the rest of the training, and good luck in Madison.
yes, sir. Thank you, guys.
All right, man.
Good luck, Dallin. See you, man.
Cool. All right. Well, that was
I'm on top.
You're on
I feel
top
like I'm
this
usually
time.
on bottom. Suck it, John.
I'm gonna leave that alone, Tyler. All right. If Brian was Sevon, he would clip that part.
I thought that was interesting. Top 20 cuts on Saturday.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So that's breaking news for everybody.
and that's gonna be what, 7-ish events, 8 events. I guess it'll be more than that, right? It should be like 9 or 10.
If it's it depends on when on Saturday. If it's the end of Saturday,
He said the end of Saturday.
yeah. So there'll be 3 or 4 events left, I would think.
That would
That's
hint to me that there might be expensive implements on the other side of the cuts.
yeah, something that's way different. That
only the top 20 if you get to do.
Yeah. Like Rogue makes a piece of equipment and they're like, man, we can make 20 of these. There's no way we can make 40. stuff like that.
Or
Definitely.
something long that you don't have time for 4 heats.
Yeah.
So that'd be interesting. That's a little bit of a wrinkle. I mean, I like 30, but there's got to be something going on that they're going to cut it down to 20.
I like 20. 20 seems cleaner. It's half the field.
You just don't have as much fluctuation, right?
Yeah,
like,
but you have 3 days to get there.
I'm not saying that the right people aren't in the top 20. It's more
Just
of
like specialists there.
Every once in a while there's a specialist, and they can
the weirdos live at the bottom.
They can get in the middle and mess up the leaderboard. Versus when you only have 20, you may lose some of those.
That's fair.
Alyssa, what is that circle thing with the sand? That's the snail. They have plenty of those, though.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they had 40 of those on a field at once.
I don't think those
No,
are
I think it's 20.
Like,
yeah, I
20?
think it's 20. Yeah. No, I don't think those. No, it's just a matter of getting that many of them to Madison.
Right.
All right. We wanted to talk about Retroactive, the documentary. I know I've watched it now twice.
Oh, you liked it that much?
I had to go back through and
make notes.
Well, yeah, I mean, I watched it with the family on Friday, and I wanted to kind of go back and see if I could confirm what I felt on Friday, right? So I went back, I rewatched Savon's podcast with Mariah, and I've heard Savon talk about it very positively. And I was like, what am I missing? Is there something that I saw differently?
Savon, I want to pause you right here because Savon has made me he's made me think I was insane about this. And I've gone back and forth like 3 times. Like, do I know what I'm talking about? Is he right? Am I wrong? So I get why you watched it a second time.
I need to get out more. I mean, it was on the background the second time, but I was definitely catching parts of it that I knew.
I think this is Chase, by the way.
Who's Captain Rogers?
Yeah.
I guess, Tyler, what was, you watched Hiller's video and he's like, who is this for? And it got me really thinking, like, maybe not what the documentary as it's produced is, but who should the documentary be for?
The problem is that you're asking the question. You've watched the movie.
Answered.
Right. The problem is that the question needs to exist instead of you not ever caring who it was for because it was good. But
I guess if you were Mariah,
explain what you're saying a little bit more because I think we're on the exact same page, Tyler.
Yeah.
Like if it's for people to get people into CrossFit, like it needs to be more. This is what CrossFit is, and then show like what the affiliates are, and then if you want to do the game, and then like how they got to the games, and then the games. If it's for people who are already into CrossFit who watch the games, I mean, they don't want to see just another replay of what they've already watched. So like there should be so much more behind the scenes stuff that we've never seen before, athlete conversation, like moments in the back room.
That's what Chase would say.
That we don't know happened. You know what I mean? Have y'all seen the Dubai documentary in 2019, 2018?
Mm-hmm.
So like we want to see Laura Horvath walk away from acid bath when everybody else is crying. Everybody's dying on the floor. And Laura Horvath, man, that was great. I'm glad I got my legs going a little bit. Like that's what we want to see. And it does, like I feel like these documentaries fall short on both ends. Like it doesn't know what it wants to be. And it should sell hard to one side or the other.
Can I say what I thought about it before we go forward? Then we can just like lay it all out on the table. So I think Savon wants to help row the boat. He wants to
I
push
want
it
to
forward.
support
And
Mariah.
I get that. I totally get that. And I'm going to be critical in the way that I'm critical of movies, not in the way that I'm critical of HQ.
Uh-oh.
Well, I guess maybe in the way that I'm critical of
Got
HQ.
a
But
movie critic here.
like, and if I were an HQ employee, I would be like, this is a good movie. Done. Let's help row the boat forward. The movie's already made, but I'm not in that position, right? And so I'm gonna give you honest feedback about it. It never moved me. I knew all the things, and what was the phrase Savon used? The people who read the books never like the movies.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, yes, okay, I read the book that year. I knew the behind the
I
scenes
disagree
stuff.
completely. I love Harry Potter.
Right. I didn't think it was a great analogy, but I got what he was saying. But I read the book and I was like, dude, there was so much. I think they made a movie and they were like, good job, we made a movie. But you're like, it's not good enough to just make one. Like Hiller was saying, you have a franchise running now. You can't just make the same thing over and over again. And to be honest, you didn't make the same thing over. You did. It was obvious to me they scrambled and just did it during the games. We don't want to see what's at the games. At the X Games, you see backstory, what's going on in their personal life, what's going on. Like, that's why the Froning movie is so great. It's because you saw backstories.
Mm-hmm.
That we don't care about what the athlete did on the field, really.
Honestly, if they did what they did in 2008, what Savon did in 2008, I know he picked the wrong people, but you could just pick 5 people and follow them throughout the whole thing. And like, I think it would be amazing. And then you just pick, and like, obviously you pick like 2 top guys and then 2 mid-tier guys. You know, like obviously Colton would probably be one of those guys, right? Mertens.
Right.
But, and then, you know, a freaking Arthur Semenoff or something. You know what I mean? Like a guy that's not going to do very good, but you have a range of people. You know, maybe that 38th guy is hilarious. Or maybe he's like, I'm pretty good at this one, and I know I suck at everything else. I'm going to burn the house down to see what happens. Like, that's so much fun, even if it doesn't work out, right? And he sucks at that too. It's so much fun just to see the mindset go, like a different mindset go into different events. And like you could pick 4 women, 4 guys, and just follow them the whole year. And I think it would make a way better movie, like they did in 2008.
You know what's interesting about what you're saying here, John, is who's the movie? You can tie together the idea that you just laid out and the idea of who is the movie for. I think actually who the movie is for, it could be the people who are fans of the sport, but it's actually for the athletes who are on top and coming up. So we want to see the people who dominate, and then we want to see the people who barely have a chance and they might make it.
Yeah, you pick a couple bubble athletes.
Yeah.
You know, and then maybe they're on the bubble of the top 20. Maybe they're on the bubble of the semifinals. But like James Sprague. James Sprague barely made semifinals. Or like he made it and we didn't, well, he made it comfortably, but we didn't think he was going to based on the events.
Yeah.
And then he has a good shot to be top 20 because he's a home run hitter. You know, he gets a couple good events in the first 2 days. He's got a shot to be in the top 20. You could follow him the whole thing, and I think it'd be amazing. You've picked 2 bubble athletes, 2 on the top athletes, and then and just follow them.
Yeah, you got 2 problems. First, with what Julian here says, that Talking Elite Fitness had Mariah on. She said she had a 3-week notice beforehand to film this documentary. That's not enough time.
I agree, John. That's where you say, I'm not making this film. You want me to put out trash? No, I'm not doing that.
And then she said she was on a shoestring budget on top of that, right? Like,
or Mariah, find one person, one athlete, one guy and girl, and then just follow those people around for the first 3 weeks and on.
I remember JR called me before Crash.
And don't have it as a CrossFit Games documentary. Just say this name / this name, the games.
The games.
You know what I mean?
JR called me before Crash last year, and we were talking about putting cameras up, and so people could see the live stream. And I was like, "What are you thinking?" Because we hadn't done Zelos Games yet, and we sort of didn't know how to do it. And we were talking about like maybe trying to run it through Savon's channel and doing stuff. And it was late. Like we only had a week or maybe a week and a half left to be able to do it. And he said, what do you think? And I was like, if you're not going to do it good, don't do it, because then you're just going to have a Nest Cam that looks like shit. And I'm not saying that this movie was a Nest Cam that looked like shit, but it was like they just did it.
Yeah.
Can I comment on Chase's latest comment?
She didn't have enough time.
No. Miles to Madison.
Oh, that one.
Like I think you're saying like they followed the athletes in Miles to Madison. They didn't.
Yeah.
They had one 20-minute thing on 3 athletes, and then they had a 20-minute thing on 3 different athletes. And then
Road to the Games is probably what he's talking about. Yeah.
Well, no, he's talking about Miles
Yeah.
to Madison because they did their own version of
It was
Road to the
check-in.
Games.
Yeah, it was checking in.
But it's not. It's not the same. And I'm talking about staying with the people, not 3 new people. Like if you're gonna make a documentary, not a YouTube series, that's way different.
Yeah,
right.
That gets back to who's it for, and I also, in between watching that, I also went and watched the 2017 Games documentary to see, did I have the same feels? How was it different? And I'll say it was significantly different from the I guess what the purpose was. Like it felt like the 2017 Games Redeemed and Dominant or something like that.
Redeemed and Dominant.
Yeah. It was almost like it was trying to get you pumped up for the upcoming games.
Mm-hmm.
Like everything was like focused on how badass these athletes are. A little bit less on the storytelling. There definitely was, right? Like how the competition's unfolding. But you just came out of that feeling like amped up to go work out, like kind of had that kind of feeling of that. This was almost like it was just telling a story of here's what happened to the games. And when you hear Mariah talk on Savon's show, she said that they actually got input from the athletes, right? And so like they didn't include stuff from Roman talking about, it sounds like talking about Russia. Tia had some input on what she didn't want to have brought in. CrossFit had 2 different layers of input. I just wonder how much they were handcuffed of what it looked like before everybody started taking their bits and pieces out. Like CrossFit asked to take this about over working too much, right? Because it would have given the impression that CrossFit's unsafe. But that is what would make that really a great segment, right? Like they talked about it for a minute, and it was really interesting. Like Mal basically gave herself bronchitis from working out so damn hard. Like,
you're saying is they sanitized it. They took all the life out of it and just.
Well, I mean that I feel like that is anti-CrossFit character. You know what I mean?
It's the new
that
CrossFit
is the
character
opposite of what CrossFit used to be.
Exactly.
And it was better back then. Bring back puking.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
CrossFit is not a woke thing. Woke people can't do CrossFit.
Here we go. Here we go.
Because it's freaking hard work. All right. And I don't think you should sanitize or clean up anything. I think you should make it as raw as possible.
That's right. Raw from the man on bottom.
And Tyler, I'm about to come on top in a minute. I'm going to go over spins and put me on top.
Oh,
yeah, Tyler. I mean, I tried to watch it the second time, and I was trying to step back. Like, if I wasn't in CrossFit, would I understand what's going on?
No.
That's like I see what they're trying to do at the beginning and at the end. Like they tied in the affiliates, they tie in.
You can't do both.
And but it was tying in like, they're at the affiliates, they do this type of stuff, and at the very end, it's like, these people, identify as athletes and they do the same workouts and they can understand what these athletes are doing. I see what they're trying to do. That if you are a non-CrossFitter and you watch it and then you realize, oh, well, they're doing the same stuff at the affiliate as they're kind of doing on the games. I don't know. Like, I see what they're trying to do, right? Like, it's an attempt to do it.
I disagree that it should be billed like that. They're not doing that at the affiliates.
Yeah.
The games people are not the regular people at the affiliates. They're way, way different people. Me and Tyler go play pickup basketball at the YMCA. We are not the NBA basketball players.
I don't. That's how terrible I am. But I get your point.
If freaking G League team came to the Y and played me and Tyler, we would get owned. It would be a different sport that we are playing because we're not as good as them. They're the elite of the elite. They can do stuff we cannot do. That's what the games is versus the affiliates. They should be two separate things.
Yeah. C. Hill, he started CrossFit because of the Fittest in Dubai documentary. These last two gave me nothing.
Yep.
Those definitely, those things drew so many people in, right? And it was the constant creation of things. And what I felt like, you can't put everything into the documentary, right? But I think about, if I'm trying to attract people to watch the games next month, what do I want them to come out of? You know, like, the capital is made because of Rebecca Fuselier, right? Like, yes, it did remind me back of when Haley was struggling on those last few steps. And there's some stuff there that's pretty good. But Rebecca was on the steps. Like, that drew it in, that showed the community. And you showed her walking up the steps, but didn't mention her, right? You didn't show the sandbag it to the heaviest ladder for Danny or the four guys. Like, you just focused on the podium. And while you can't do everything, you can't highlight every single winner of everything, I feel like a couple of those moments needed to be.
Oh yeah, I thought the same thing when they didn't show Brent like kind of having fun during the sandbag event. He was having a good time, like he was really trying, but like he was joking around with other athletes and stuff. And
how do you not show like Brent almost getting the 340, 350?
Yeah.
340?
Yeah,
whatever it was.
He got 340, he needed 350, yeah.
Yeah, how do you not show him almost getting that? And then somebody needs to be in the back being like, Brent, why did you not just get that? What happened? And like his answer to that question. You know what I mean? That's what I want. I'm like, why did you not just slow down, man? Like, tell me what happened. You know, I want him to say, I don't know, man, I effed up. It would have been crazy. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I want to see.
That's where, I know we keep, in Savon's, I think, trying to get to that. It goes back to the behind the scenes, added so much of that context that the documentary didn't have to try to do any of that.
Right.
Like, you got both. You got that type of discussion. You got, because Savon would be right there and Brent would be like, what was going through your mind? What happened, right? You didn't need that from the documentary, and you could focus on telling the story of the competition and who won, right? But I felt like it needed to try to do both because there was nothing else there at the games. This is the only thing that's going to capture what happened at last year's games. And I mean, I think I personally like seeing the interaction between Matt and Mal. I thought that was pretty cool. Like, how they interacted. Some of those things you don't see normally. But again, that would have been that could have been captured on a behind the scenes documentary even more.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I guess going to the actual documentary itself, like, Tyler, do you think it did Ricky justice? Like, did you?
I was like, guys, just drop it. Like, it was the fiddle they just kept playing, and it's like, nobody wants to hear this anymore. Move on. Yeah, he did drugs. And it's like, but they brought it up. Like, I was like, you've brought this up an awkward amount of times. How many that he did drugs? I was like, we had a whole thing about it.
There's a whole movie about it.
There's a whole movie about it. Like,
it was better than this one.
And I was like, why are they just keep throwing? And I was like, do you want us to like it be synonymous? Like, he's redeemed. Leave him alone.
I think it's 6 years ago.
Right.
I really think about that.
Yeah. True.
And like, he's a likable dude. Like, interview him about other stuff. You know, build his character. You guys are not building his character. You're just like, oh, this dude that did drugs and he's from Australia. Crazy. That's it. It's like, man, we know nothing about. We want to attach ourselves. Like, I'm big on I think people say, oh, I want to go to the gym and be around people that are like me. And it's like, no, you want a hero. We loved Rich because he was a hero. I know John didn't, but everybody else did. he was the everyman. He came out of Tennessee, just played Division, 2 baseball or whatever. Not really a big deal. And he's just like, he morphed himself into a champion, right? And it's like, oh, maybe I can do that. And then you see like his life struggles and different things. And it's like, we want to feel sympathetic with these people and know that they're superhuman all at the same time. And you didn't do any of that for us. You did with Roman a little bit.
Yeah.
But with Ricky, you just kicked him down in the dirt again. It's like, oh, you dirty cheater. And it's like, there was that moment with Pat where he's like, we just, if he's still, if he's clean. And it was like, that was a nice, like, little thing, but it was like one little moment out of 2 hours or
And
whatever.
out of anybody that's allowed to say that, I will give Pat a pass.
Yeah, Pat gets a pass.
But Pat has a reason not to like Ricky or hold a grudge. And I don't think anybody else does. I really don't. I don't. I think Ricky is one of the hardest workers out of everybody in the games. Just who puts in the most hard work. I might put him number one as far as the amount he's willing to go into the darkest of places over and over and over again.
Yeah.
I mean, he did.
You have to respect somebody like that.
You get kicked out of the sport and you come back and you're still a podium finisher. What? Like, you're that dedicated to this that you did that? Like, that's the story, not you did drugs.
Yeah, he could have left and gone.
In 2017, absolutely, the stories you did drugs.
Yeah,
but
not now.
Not now. Yeah, I agree. I agree 100%.
Alyssa, did you like Tia more or less after this doc? Tyler,
I liked her the same, but I like her.
Kind of an answer.
I knew that was in her. Like, I've seen those bits of her before, and so it's like there was nothing surprising in the movie to me. She got a little upset with Shane, and it's like, yeah, that's what happens when you have the world's fittest person of all time. Like, she's gonna snap on you.
And your wife.
Yeah.
There was a monologue that I thought was a little weird. It was like she was saying that, like, no one is better than me. She got a little cocky, and I was like, I like a little humility in my champ.
It was definitely the two sides. Like,
she started with humility.
He didn't express it that same way.
Yeah, it's a little different. He
said, I quote Matt Fraser, I want you to be the fittest you've ever been because that's going to make this win that much sweeter.
Right. But
that was different.
He was almost egging you on into trying to beat him. He was like, I want you to come into the fire with me. She was like, you can't come into the fire with me. I'm on a different sun compared to the fire you're in.
Is she not on a different sun?
You don't say it.
I think when you're actually on the different sun, you could say it. If you're on your way, you can't say it.
You can say it, but
like Justin can't say I'm on a different level because he's not.
Right.
All right. He's just the best at executing at the current level that everybody is at. Tia is on a different level.
100%. I think to win 6 times in a row, you have to have that attitude. And I don't know. All we know is that we know that small clip of what she said. We don't know what it was in the
right.
5 minutes before and after, right? But she went from that, right? Like, doesn't matter. You guys can't compete with me. To near the end, like she showed some vulnerability with Shane. It was like near tears at the end, right before the last event, and so like it showed more human side on that piece of it. It just was such a dichotomy of like, I'm tough, nobody can compete with me, I'm the best ever, to showing like some emotion, which I did like. I mean, that was good to see.
Do you think, what place do you think Tia would be if she was in the men's field?
I've thought about this a little
Same
bit.
weights. So like she's gonna be last place in the clean and jerk. She's gonna clean and jerk 270, be last place. She's gonna be last place in the snatch. Any ladder, she's probably gonna be last place. Like you have to think anything. She'd probably be okay weight cycling. Like I don't think she gets last with 135 cycling in a workout. What place do you think she gets? All the cardio events, she probably still wins.
I think she's top
or gets top 5. Yeah.
Yeah, she's going ocean swim, anything swimming. She's probably still going to win. You know what I mean? Like, you think she can make the top 20 in the men's field?
I think 25 is safe. I would say between maybe 15 and 25.
I wish we could do that experiment.
That would be a neat experiment.
She should take that as a challenge. Tia, if you're listening, I know you're an avid barbell spin listener.
She's been on the show before.
Faithful listeners. Her and Shane watch every Wednesday at 6:30 Central. When you come back from having a baby, instead of winning again, you should just do the men's field and just see what happens. It would be so much fun.
So I'll say I want to go back to the
technically under the rules she'd be allowed to. She could call her Tim Toomey.
Tim Toomey.
Shane would be gay for a year.
I want to go back to the thing about her. So why do we like Michael Jordan, but no one likes LeBron?
I like LeBron. I'm a LeBron guy.
Of course you do, you piece of shit. It's because there's humility, even though Michael's the best. But LeBron says he's the best, and Michael doesn't.
Okay.
That's my feeling on that. Go ahead, Spin.
She deserves to be cocky. People stay comparing her to people who've accomplished absolutely nothing, spent all off season saying Mal is going to beat her.
She's the best. I'll give her that. It's just how you present yourself.
Yeah.
I mean, that attitude and personality made the second place woman say, I don't want to do the games again.
I don't know if that's it, but
the sole purpose.
That's it.
Bruce, you gotta go back, man.
It's with you all every week.
15, 20 minutes. They're in and out, and then it's the
first thing of the podcast.
John and Tyler show after that. It sounds like there's not going to be anything in 23. Is that
a film?
Yeah, or at least they're not contracting Mariah to do it for them.
That's a sad state of affairs. I hope you're wrong. If it's not with Mariah, okay. It's not that I don't want Mariah to do it. I would love if she did it, and I'm sympathetic towards her position. I've been rough about it. I am sympathetic towards what Mariah did. I wouldn't have made the choice to make it. I also understand why she made the choice to make the film. But if we don't have a film in 23, like that's almost more sad than having a bad one.
I think this is the year where we just need to make a Patrick Vellner film, and when he wins, we can title it. We can title it "The Old Guard Strikes Back."
All in 3?
No, The Old Guard Strikes Back. We play on Star Wars. It's been all about the young bucks lately, right? And then when he wins and then retires and walks into the sunset, that'll be the Patrick Vellner film.
He stumbles into the sunset on his terrible knees, and
I can't say swims into the sunset because he might drown. So,
right.
You know,
as he trips into the sunset because inevitably something was in the way.
You see a plate rolling around in the back.
Yeah. I mean, if you guys have not watched it, I definitely say you should. Like,
as fans,
yeah. Like as a fan of CrossFit, like I think you do pick up some stuff. Like there are tidbits in there that are good to hear. I think you do learn a little bit of some of the nuances of Roman, a little bit of Tia. I did like Justin's demeanor, like the way his attitude was in some of those events where he came from behind. Like it showed a little bit more of that mindset, which I think was good. So yeah, I think you guys should watch it if you haven't. But it's like hyping up some blockbuster movie. You're probably not going to go leaving going, that was better than I expected. Right. Like, so
it's like Hiller said. I mean, if you're a Fast and the Furious fan, you probably went and saw the 18th Fast and the Furious, even though it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Right. And that's something that I thought about too, because they know they're going to make a couple million off of this, right? They know they have the fan base to just, you can put out a terrible product and still make a few million, which kind of blows. But I mean, I don't know. I just think that's a point worth making, is they just put out a product because they can.
I think we should go ask Boz if we can do the games a week before the games, all of the analysts, and just call it the Analyst Games, and Sevon will film it, and it'll be a bunch of average guys. Brian, you can just do it, right? Tyler's going to probably win the handstand push-up event. And like all we all do all the analysts
get capped.
Do the game. I'm not getting capped, man. All the analysts do the game.
The first event you'll get capped, and then you'll be fine after that.
Yeah,
right.
I mean, listen, the swim event, I'm probably going to be last in. But after that, I should be all right.
I don't want to go against JR as a problem. I don't want to look stupid.
He don't count. JR would probably win. If we're being honest, JR would probably win, because I'm only beating him if it involves weights. I can't beat him in anything else.
All right. Next up, last week I asked the question, who is the best CrossFit athlete to have never qualified for the CrossFit Games as an individual?
Andrea Nisler.
And then Tyler got slapped around a little bit by
Andrea. Thanks, Andrea.
So we're not going to do a top 5 list this week, but we did want to bring up a few names that were either in the comments or not, and kind of give a reason, go down maybe a little bit of memory lane of who they were and why we think those are the best athletes who have never qualified as an individual. Tyler, I'll have you go first, since you also don't like to follow the rules.
We're going to start at the bottom of the top.
You pick.
Bottom. So my second pick, we pick one male and one female, but my second pick was Taylor Self. And because on the stats that I keep on my own, regardless of the legitimacy, if you listen to John, Taylor is still ranked, even though he hasn't competed. He was so good back then that he's still ranked amongst the highest. He's still in like the top 30, I think. He was
if people
so
don't know
good.
how fit Taylor is, they should go watch Wodapalooza, the year he competed at Wodapalooza, because I mean that kind of shows his abilities, I would say.
Yeah.
The
syndicate. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
He withdrew that year, and I was so bummed that he withdrew, because that's when his knee gave out basically before the syndicate, and then the Grand Games. That was such a close call.
Yeah.
And man, he's so good at games stuff too. Like, he's a good all-around athlete, and that's why I want to see him at the games. Is because once he's there, he's going to do really well, but getting there is the hard part. Yeah. And so, man, it's just. He's an athlete, and then his story's great. And it's only going to get better. Like, if he makes it next year, like, it'll be an amazing story. And if Will doesn't make that documentary, I'm going to slap him in the face. So yeah, Taylor's an amazing athlete.
Got some inside knowledge, and he was injured at Wodapalooza that year. He could barely squat, and still did really
great.
Well.
Yeah.
And then the title of the documentary can be "Believe in Yourself." From drugs to the fittest on earth.
All right. When Will does that, you get some credits for the title.
You're telling me that's not a good title? That's pretty good, is it not?
Savon, will he ever come back? Yeah, he's on the way back, I think. So
he's got a super knee now.
Yeah. All right, John.
I think my first one was I'll go with my guy since you went with your guy first, was Mitch Bernard. If people probably don't know who that guy is, he's kind of like, he's Nick Forey was a little bit more in the past, but he's kind of like Nick Forey.
Yeah.
He was so good at a lot of different things, specifically like body weight stuff. I think he's done 50 strict handstand push-ups in a row, like faster than Dan Bailey can. Like a lot of the stuff that Dan Bailey was really good at, Mitch was really good at. That type of like short man can blow through any type of gymnastic, and he was pretty darn strong. There was just something like a lot of times. Yeah, and you have to go back and watch the regionals back when Fikowski was competing. I would say 14 through like 16.
Yeah, 13 through
13, 14, 15. And like the placements don't do it justice. Go back and watch these years. He would be in first place for like 4 events. And then he just would have 2 just catastrophic events that just something terrible would happen to him. And then it would shoot him down. He never made it. But like, it's not that he barely missed. It's that like I'm telling you, he was beating the brakes off everybody. And then he would just,
he took 31st in one event. That was when a field of 40.
Yeah.
I thought about Nick Forey actually when I was thinking about this, because he got robbed basically every year because he was in the Central East.
He just needed to move.
Yeah,
and he was really terrible. That's who I had as my guy.
Really? Yeah.
I mean, look at that Central East, 9th, 6th, 7th, 6th, and if you go
top 3 though, technically he wasn't very close to me. But like he would be first in multiple regions.
Look at the Central East: Froning, Panchik, Morad, Holmberg, Hendren, Sasser was a beast. He beat Sanders, Ring. I mean, insane. In 2013, he was behind Froning, Panchik, Bailey, Holmberg, Hendren.
By 1 point.
Yeah, 1 freaking point. So, I mean, that dude was always there. If he was in any other region, maybe other than California, maybe. Like, he was
what's
there.
Funny about him, like he would lose in the last event. He would be in a great place, and then all the other guys would do great in that last event, and he would not.
He blew that rope climb in 2014.
Look, Hendren's 1st and 8th. That was one of your comebacks, right? Your greatest events. Hendren pulled off one of the greatest events to beat Nick Forey. Like he'd have a bunch of stuff like that happen to him.
Right. Yeah. I mean, was it 2014 that like everybody in the Central East got top 10?
Yeah.
Right. Like
I think 13 was the same way.
Basically. So, I mean, he was just one of those guys. You talk about uneven fields in semifinals. Like Central East was a whole other level compared to a lot.
It was a games amongst itself. I was there in 2014, and it was like I didn't realize what I was watching at the time. It was amazing. I love the quote from him too of behind the Only 4 documentary of that weekend, and they were like, he's like, okay, what do you got to do to win? And he's like, I think I can, if I grease the barbells, put grease on them. He was just like, I'm doomed. I can't make it.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure there's one of the years, like all of his scores would have beaten all the South, whoever won the South, won the South would have beaten all of them, every single event. He beat the winner of the South. And it's where you live.
Yeah. Imagine
if I was that close 2 years in a row, and I know Rich and Graham and Scott ain't going anywhere. I think I'm just, I'm trying to rig the system. I'm pulling a Bailey rail. My parents live in Texas. I'm doing something. I'm doing something to make.
Well, but back then there wasn't any money in it, man. And it was like, do I want to move?
If he cares that much, I've tried to move.
What year was it where everybody started moving like all over the world?
Oh,
was that 15 or 14?
I feel 15's rattling in my brain. I bet it's 15.
With the super teams?
No, it wasn't that, because it was still going to like it was going to Asia.
Yeah. Didn't like
Asia.
Green moved to a bunch moved to Africa.
Yeah, Asia. You got Eric Carmody went over there. Mogard. I mean, it was like
Mogard's from Amsterdam, though, right? Like, I mean, he's not super out of the way.
Not super out of the way, but yeah, it was like, let's just move across the world. I know some others did too.
I forgot about Miko Erompa.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, moving to say Texas instead of living in wherever he was, Tennessee or whatever. Would have been much better for Nick.
Tennessee or Texas alone. Yeah, the South was.
Yeah. Tyler, who did you have up next?
Number 1, Andrea Nisler. I'm sticking with that pick, even though I got murdered in the comments. So, for those who don't know, Andrea Nisler did go to the games in 2020.
How do you say her last name?
Nisler.
Okay.
How did you think I said it?
You're saying it with a Z.
Nisler. Yeah. How you say what's the red fruit that's sour?
Raspberry?
Twizzlers?
Raspberries. But you just said it with a Z.
It's different.
Not an S. Raspberry.
Names and fruit are very different.
Anyway, Andrea Nisler. She
you got like a lips now. Andrea.
She did make it in 2020, sort of. And even she said this in the comments: it counts and doesn't count. I don't want to shit on her. It still was great that the 2020. I discount it as an analyst. Like anytime I do analytics for the sport, I throw 2020 out. It's garbage comparing to the other ones. But on my personal stats that I keep, she continued to rank in the top 10 after that year. Like she was just always right there. She did good at Wadapalooza. She did good in all the off-season competitions she showed up for. I'm really bummed out we never saw her on a games field doing different weird events. I know she doesn't like doing individual, but the sport really missed out not seeing her on the field. I think she's a great athlete.
I mean, look at her open performance. It's crazy.
Yeah.
The last 4 years.
It's the open.
Still,
dude, you can top 50.
If she didn't back it up on the teams going forward, like that's one thing, but for her to be on the biggest stage of the games on a team and dominate.
Credit to the open. Tola was second in the open.
Okay.
Good for Tola. That's great.
Yeah. That's different.
The open means nothing.
This Taylor Watkins is a weird dude. John, you have Andrea Nisler's teammate.
Yeah, Taylor Williamson.
Screw you guys.
Essentially, I agree with Tyler. I think Nisler is the pick if you don't count 2020.
Yeah.
But if you do count 2020, I would say this is the second best female that's never done the CrossFit Games. And what's funny, it's not even that they have missed out; they just didn't do it.
Yeah.
But both of them, they love working out together. But they both have dominated the women's field on the teams since 2016, since they started. Back when they were on OC3, everybody knew they were the best women. Their men just couldn't compete with Mayhem's men.
Right.
OC3, their women were the best women out of everybody.
And they still beat them in Rogue, the Invitational.
Yeah. And then they jumped on the bandwagon and went to Mayhem, and then they jumped on a different wagon and went to Proven. But yeah, I say Taylor Williamson. If you look at her, what I like about Taylor, she has certain things that she's freaky at. that like bigger girls tend to be freaky at, like the biking and holding on to bags and just strong women stuff. And she does all of the rogue challenges and wins like every single rogue challenge, like the 50 cal echo for time. I think she did it in like 54 seconds, 50 cals in the echo bike. Something.
Her sandbag was even more impressive.
And yeah, she held it forever. Anyway, but like she does all of the rogue challenges and she wins almost all of them. So I say Taylor Williamson.
She did 50 calories in a minute 8.
Minute 8. Dang, I overshot that.
And then she held on to the sandbag for 19 minutes and 4 seconds.
And what was the sandbag?
So 150 or 100?
I feel like it's probably
I don't remember.
150 would be
crazy. 150 is a 150-pound bag for 19 minutes and 4 seconds.
What do you do?
And what's funny is like, what's funny is like, yes, she is a bigger girl. She's not bigger than me.
No.
You know what I mean?
No.
And
could you hold a bag for 19 minutes?
No. I don't think I could hold a 100-pound bag for 19 minutes. I don't know if I could stand in one spot for 19 minutes. My back would start. My back hurts. I'm hurting at the end of the songs at church. Like I pray there's only 2 songs because if there's 3 songs, I'm starting to hurt. I can't stand in one spot. Yeah, I can't stand in one spot. I could run forever slowly, but I can run and be great. My feet feel great, ankles feel great, last forever. I cannot stand in one spot for a long time. It's painful.
I did a workout recently, and it was with dumbbells, and it was like dumbbell power cleans and push press. And it wasn't taxing enough where you had to take a break. It literally was, you just never moved, you never moved your feet. Like it was just there and you just kept on doing it.
Oh, yeah.
And it was the weirdest thing ever. Like you got like 5 minutes in, you're like, I've not moved my feet one time. Like, and imagine doing that for 19 minutes, just standing there.
Dude, I can't, that stuff is, I don't like that stuff.
You get like a weird, like restless leg syndrome, sort of like, I just need to move my feet.
Yeah.
Like, I know I don't need to, but I need to.
Yeah. It was the hardest thing of just not moving and taking a break just to kind of just feel like you moved once. It's like, just going and going and going. It was weird. I think Taylor or Andrea, if they had the desire to go individual, would definitely be there and be fun to watch on different ways of doing it, different reasons. I had her name is Chloe Wilson, which she's been very, very close the last few years.
She made it in Z-score this year.
There you go. That's a good consolation prize. I mean, 6th in 2018 at the regionals, South region, and then a 7th, a 6th in another last chance qualifier, and then finished 12th, one place out this past year at the North America West semifinal.
Gosh, she barely missed 3 years in a row. It's so terrible.
4 really, right? Like the 2018 was 5, I think. So, I mean, 4 years, she skipped 19 and 20, but 4 years of attempting, and she's missed the cut by 1 or 2 spots every single year. Like, she is right there. So hopefully she doesn't give up and she can make it and then figure out what's holding her back. But it's just,
she should move to Asia.
I mean, that's an option, I guess.
China is a wonderful place. They're very nice to people over there.
Yeah, you just feel bad for somebody like that who's gotten that close year after year, and it keeps coming back, right? Like a lot of these people, they miss it 3 times in a row. Like, you come back and keep trying. I
feel like she'd be good at the games too. Like she's on the taller and heavier side, like heavier for the women, 155, and 5'6". So I've always thought she would be really good at the games. Plus she's a firefighter. Yeah, there you go. So she's a firefighter. So she's good at weird stuff.
Rescue Randy, she'd kill it.
Yeah. So I like it.
Yeah, and it kind of when I was doing that post, I thought of like Tia Wright, Andrea Ager. I think I ran across one of her posts actually, and I was like, like she was always one of those that every year I was like, oh, Andrea Ager's on that cusp of making it, and then she never qualified. And so
Andrea wouldn't have done well at the games though. That's my thing.
Tia, right?
Huh?
Either one. I mean, they're both. They would have had a few events where they've been fine, but yeah. I mean, Andrea did well on the team. I think she was with Christian Harris. Was that?
Maybe. Yeah.
I think so. So yeah, I mean, those two. That's kind of what made me think about that tweet was. I ran across that and I was like, oh, I wonder what happened to her. And then like she was one that I thought, oh, she was close to making it. Who would be those top athletes? So that was pretty cool. Clydesdale Media here. Chloe is straight up an awesome person too. So hopefully she can figure out a way to make it maybe next year. All right, we got one more segment for you guys. If you watched Get With the Programming last week, was it Monday or last week?
I think it was this week.
Yeah, the holiday got in my way. Of the 4 different types of events that Chase and Bill wanted to see for this year, and they threw out some interesting ones. I personally like the gladiators, the pugil sticks and
jousting.
Knocking them off. Yeah, jousting and knocking them off with the big Q-tips. But we did our own. We only did 2 this time. We had short notice, but John had a great idea. Let's throw our own hat in the ring of what we would like to see. So, John, since you kind of gave up the idea, what was one of yours that you would like to see at the 2023 CrossFit Games?
My first one, and I feel like you would just do this one by one because it wouldn't take very long for every athlete to go. And you just see everybody go, and then you'd have a high water mark, and everybody's score would get recorded. It's just an endless legless rope climb. So I don't know what contraption you would have to make it, and not like it's where they stay at the same.
They have those
height.
machines.
Yeah, they have those machines, right?
Yeah.
So and just everybody go. It's safe. It's not like you're actually climbing in the air, and then you just go one after the other, and then I just want to see who climb up a rope legless the most. I just think it'd be a fun thing, out of the box thing, games event to have. Obviously, it's a specialist event through and through, but it would just be fun to see.
I wonder how you would offset that in the programming. Like if you program that, what do you have to program to kind of like?
It's the games. You get to program anything.
No, but I'm saying like you're definitely biased. Like you're saying you're biasing a certain direction in that. What do you have to program to undo that bias?
You're absolutely right. I'll give another one just because I just thought of it. I would also like to see the Olympic total. You get 3 lifts in the snatch, and you get 3 lifts in the clean and jerk. If you hit it, you get that number. If you don't, then you don't get that number. But you get 3 attempts. You don't think so?
No, it would just take all day.
That'd be the problem.
But no, so that would be like a first event of the week kind of a thing, where like maybe you do a run, or you'll do my last one that I'm gonna say when you guys do. You'll do that event first in the morning, and then you'll do this event at night on Thursday, right? It'll be the first day where it's okay that it takes a long time. Each session would be an hour. The women's and the men's would be an hour. That's how long Olympic sessions take. One after the other, and it would work just like the Olympics.
So the Olympics, obviously it's a weight category, but you also have opening weights they have to put in. So if you had them put in their opening weights,
you would be listed by your opening weight.
You could rank it that way, right? So
yep.
The 10 lowest would be session D, and then work your way up to A.
Right. So so like Jake Douglas would probably be the last guy to attempt his first attempt, right?
Well, he'd be in the last group. You can change it once you get there, but you'd have
no. You do you list your opening weight.
That's your opening weight. Okay.
Yeah, I'm saying he'd be the last guy to go for his opening weight. So for instance, if who's weak? Name a weak guy.
I mean, if you're talking about the snatch, like Alex Kazan would be near the bottom.
Okay, Alex Kazan. Alex Kazan would do her opening lift, and then some other girl would go, and then Alex Kazan would do her second lift, and then some other girl would go, and then Alex Kazan would do her third lift, and then Alex Kazan is done until the clean and jerk.
Yeah, you
right?
work your way up. Yeah,
Yeah.
You do it just like the Olympics.
I like that one.
Each session would take an hour. The snatch would take an hour, and the clean and jerk would take an hour. I know this from watching a lot of weightlifting competitions.
So that would basically be 8 hours total, right? Because you have 4 groups of 10. There's no way you
No. One group of 40, man. Just keep rolling them
Roll them through.
Okay.
Yeah.
You never take weight off.
No, you never take weight off. There's a back room. You have your coach. If you have 10 minutes, hit a couple snatches at 150, 135. And it's execution based. Boz loves that. And if you don't, and if you want to go, it's kind of like you got to be risky if you want to win it, because you get 3 attempts. That's it. And it's not under a clock. It's not like I missed it. I'm going to try to hit it again.
Yeah.
You go out, you got 1 attempt, and then you got to go back in the back room. Like you work it just like the Olympics. You could do that at night it would have to be a first day thing, because it would take a lot. It would take a lot of time. But like the guys would take an hour, and the girls would take an hour.
No press out. You have to have three judges.
Press out. This is CrossFit.
If you want to be that official, you can. I don't think you should. It is CrossFit. We're not the Olympics.
Knees on ground is okay.
Yeah, I don't.
At all.
Yeah. I think you have to stay on the platform. If you get off the platform, then that's it's no. But I don't think you have to do the press out rules, because it's CrossFit. CrossFit rules. I say this all the time whenever at the JY Barbell Club, when somebody PRs, when somebody PRs, and a lot of times like on a jerk, they'll jerk it, and then they'll stabilize.
Wobble, yeah.
All right, and then I'll be like, counts in CrossFit. I say it all the time because it does, but it won't count on an Olympic lifting meet.
It's so dumb to me that it doesn't count in Olympics. It's like you lifted 500 pounds from the ground over your head, and you're going to say it doesn't count because my elbow bent.
Some of the judging is dumb, but I get why the rules are there. I do.
I get why the rules are there, but
it's the Olympics too. It's got to be clean. But
the backstory would be cool, like seeing like in between lifts, you could see like, oh, Vellner's coach is like freaking out, and like they're gonna do this, and like, like I think Chase has done one of these before. Like he's been the MC for something like this, hasn't he? I know Kenny Kane was one time at the American Open. He's an OG guy from a CrossFit. I can't remember, but he was one of the old Wadcast podcast guys, Kenny Kane. Well, and he would talk about what was going on in the background, and it's like that's a cool part too, because you get to see what the coaches are doing and how the athletes are warming up. So,
and you get go watch an Olympic lifting meet. It's not because they go one after the other after the other after the other. Like it's somebody's doing something at all times. And then what's fun is every athlete would get 3 changes. So like their coach would be like Vellner's going to go 275. Madero says 277. Vellner's, we're not doing 275 anymore. We're going to go 278. Yeah. And then Madero's goes, I'm going 280. Vellner goes, I'm 281. Madero's like, I'm still doing 280. Like you got games like that, and everybody has 3 changes. So like if you want to be patient when you use your changes. You don't want to use it, on your first lift. Typically, you want to save till the last lift. But like those are the games that are played in the back room a lot.
I was going to bring that up. Like that takes a lot of strategy and experience to know how to train for that.
It would be unfair for everybody because Matt would be back there on his team too.
No,
Matt would be back there for his team.
Amy would be the right one.
I'm telling you, it's not as bad as y'all think. If you got
or Amy, yeah.
If anybody's done an Olympic lifting meet before, I promise you it's not as bad as you think. I had 5 40-year-old women in an Olympic lifting meet, and everybody did great. Like and everything was managed great. It's not as bad as you think. And I'm the guy telling the people the numbers, right? And changing it for them and all that. With 40-year-old women who freak out, who've never been part of anything. You know what I mean? And they're little singlets.
But this would be.
I promise you, it's not as bad as you think.
There would be some chaos in the back, especially because I think there's a lot of. I mean, the size of Olympic lifting is like 10 athletes, 10, 12, right? And so you have a big bunch of those, especially on the women's side, right? Like you get to the clean or the, look at the snatch from semifinals. They're all 185 to 190.
Mm-hmm.
Like you'd have it would just be 185, 185, 185, and then like 6 women at 186 and then 5 at 187.
That's how it is though. That's a part of it. That's why I want that. I want those delicacies.
How would you score it? Would you just say total?
Yeah, total.
Yeah, I mean, so here's the thing. You could do 50 points for the snatch and 50 points for the clean and jerk. Or you could do 100 points for the total. You know what I mean? Because
you do
sometimes
50, 50, 100.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do that. I think that puts way too much of an onus on weightlifting. That's 200 points for
200 points for
one thing. I mean, I think you either go 100 for the total or you go 50 for the snatch and 50 for the clean and jerk, because there are specialists out there. Like typically, like Guy's still going to do great, right? I know Guy's not in it, but like if he was in it, he's still probably going to win both of them. But there are snatch specialists out there where they snatch 20 pounds less than their clean and jerk.
Yeah. Well, yeah, like Kazan would do poorly in the snatch, but do much better in the clean and jerk.
Right.
Right. And I mean, like, so you could, I would probably score it 50 points for both, because if you're strong, you'll be strong in both of them. But it takes a lot for somebody to be very efficient at both of them. For instance, like I'm not very efficient at clean and jerk. I'm really strong, but my clean and jerk, my jerk is trash. Like the most I've ever clean and jerked is 350, and I can clean 395. Like that's so Vellner would beat me in the clean and jerk, and he deserves more points. Even though in the snatch, I'm going to snatch more just because I'm stronger, right? But I'm not efficient at both of them. So you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I like the 50 points.
There's also ways to make it powerlifting.
Powerlifting would be so boring, man.
Only if you had powerlifting dudes there. Those are cool because those dudes are cracked out of their heads.
That's the CrossFit total.
Yeah.
There are ways to make it visually more cool and like just a more cool experience. Remember that thing in Miami they used to do? It was like they would do it on a stage. I think. Yeah. No, not that. It was at somebody's barbell club, and they would basically throw a party and like lights would be dim. I think Jimmy Woodard still does it. But they kind of make a party out of it. And so it'd be cool to like maybe kind of have loud music for the fans and stuff. And it would cause chaos in the back. It's just like, I don't know what he said. Like, did he say 187? I don't know. Yeah, just throw down 189 and like kind of test it on that level too. Like, can you communicate with your coaching staff? Can you handle the stress of a loud environment? Because the worst thing about weightlifting events is that they're quiet.
Yeah.
And it's like, we don't want to see that. We want to have a good old fashioned in your box, throwing heavy weight over your head thing, not regulate.
That is the hardest part. Everything's quiet. And...
No, I get that. It wouldn't be as spectator friendly because typically, I mean, they are quiet when you're lifting. They're supposed to be. It's kind of like golf.
Yeah. No, hell with that. This is CrossFit, man. Turn music up and scream at people.
I got you. It is different. I don't.
Yeah. I like the event. I'm just saying, like,
loud, hype up stuff.
If I'm on the team that's like creating the overall event and the overall feel, what we want to feel like, I think that's what we do. We don't go towards the Olympic style. We go for like, let's make this a party with heavy barbells in it. I like the event though.
Do you have a strength one, Tyler, or should I go?
Go ahead.
All right. So I like the strongman implement, but I couldn't come up with something that would make sense. So I said a max overhead squat for reps at 225, 165. So you have you have like a reset at 30 seconds. So if you fail, within the first 30 seconds, you can get it back up and then start over. Kind of like the handstand hold at Wadapalooza.
There's no way you're getting it back up.
225. So say it again. 30 seconds.
So like if you fail within the first 30 seconds, you could get it back.
Oh, okay.
And start over again.
Okay.
Right, and start over. Right.
Max overhead squat.
But once 30 seconds hit, max overhead squats at 225, 165.
But once you're at 30 seconds, you're locked in. You're
locked
set.
in. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
That's
if you
interesting.
did like 3 and you failed, right, you just lost your balance. If you can get it back and start over again, you start at 0, but you can start to go over again. And tiebreakers are the speed at which you take to finish those number of reps.
Yeah. I like this.
I've done this.
Yeah. I've done 205.
Yeah.
How many
I wanted to get 225 for 20. That was like my goal.
What?
I
Did
didn't
you do
make
it?
I've gotten 18 before. And what's funny is it's not your ability. It was, well, at least I haven't done it in like a year, but it wasn't the ability to squat or like my midline breaking down. My left like shoulder like just gave out, like it just stopped working, and like I would squat and it'd be like it would just give out, and then it just went numb, and like I stopped because my left arm wouldn't work anymore. That's but I mean, I'm sure somebody can do 20 before. I remember Sam Dancer did 225 for 20, and I was like, I think I can get to that. I really want to get to that. And the most I ever got was 18.
Yeah. So, I mean, it was what, 185, 125 for the 10 or 20 overhead squats and the down and back chipper each way. So I figured it's the games, increase it to 225, 165. It's a better percentage for the women. And
I think there are some people who do ridiculous numbers on that.
I know.
Like, I bet some people can get 30 plus.
That'd be awesome to watch them. Just, I mean, imagine the crowd going crazy watching them, and you count them all out.
I mean, I think Colton could do like 40, honestly. Like,
yeah.
It'd be interesting. I wonder if their bodies would fail them, like how mine did.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Or if it was just because it wasn't a strength thing, my arms just couldn't hold it anymore.
Right.
I'd be curious if that's how it is for them.
Yeah, I mean, just the midline stability, shoulder stability that you need for 30 reps of that. I mean, the time under tension would be insane.
It's a good test. It feels like there would something need to be like immediately after it, because it's not a very long test. Like you could test, like how many people would you present on the field at once?
I think you only do like 3 or so, 4. Maybe.
Okay. So it's not a very long event. That would be kind of neat, because then you could compare like reps and times across like with people. That'd be cool.
You know what number needs to be beaten, right?
Yeah.
And so you would see what that is. And then it's for time, right? So like if there's 6 people that tie at 20, who finishes those 6 or those 20 faster than the others?
Right.
So there's an element of speed in there, execution, strength, accurate, kind of accuracy.
Do you think this hurts people more than like the people who do good? Like it punishes them more?
Oh, you're getting into that AMRAP mentality. What Rich says, I know what you're talking about. Like, because if you get 50 reps, it's like,
if somebody does like literally just murders their self to do, let's call it 40 reps, and then somebody just gets 10.
Well, they get 3 points.
I know, but they're fresher for the rest of the game. I wonder, do you think that's bad or not?
Overhead squat is that detrimental? It might be detrimental neurologically though. Like
that many reps, like if somebody really takes it to the limit on it.
I mean, they did that. I think they did that somewhat on the sandbag when they, those 4 guys that hit the 340. I mean, that was taxing. I mean, it's the same thing as that type of thing. I mean, somebody that bowed out at 290 saved themselves 5-6 attempts.
Yeah.
Super heavy sandbag.
Yeah.
I mean, my position on this is if you did use Z-score, you would get so much more rewarded for it that it would be worth the fatigue on the other side.
Yeah.
Which allows you to program AMRAPs more. But yeah, it is a gamble. Like, do you want to program that as someone who's running the games? I like it, but I don't know that.
I'm just trying to think of something different that was a strength versus just a 1 rep max. That kind of had that element.
Yeah.
What'd you have, Tyler?
So it's like I get into philosophical, like how do I think this stuff should go versus how does what would we likely see this year? So what do you want to hear more? Do you think how
oh my
this
gosh,
go?
Tyler. Just what event do you want to see at the games? Just
I want to see more gymnastics. Like I don't have a strength one.
Give me an event.
I don't want to do a strength one. I think we see enough strength. I think we dominate towards the strength side, and so I want to see a more gymnastic proficient thing. It's just hard. Yeah, that's it.
Just a floor routine.
I said the endless rope climb one. Y'all didn't really like it.
No, I like. It's just so it seems so specific, doesn't it?
I mean, some events are specific. They have a biking event. They have a running event. Those are very specific.
That's
events.
True. And that's the problem with gymnastics is it's hard to program something that's like, well, this
30 ring muscle ups for time. That's a great event. It's a very specific event.
We could see like a gymnastics medley, like things that might. I think that would be cool. I don't have like a specific set of things that I think we should do, like muscle ups and then handstand stuff, maybe stuff that like shows an overall prowess that is weighted as heavy as just a 1 rep max lift. We see 1 rep max all the time, or some sort of heavy lift all the time. It's so dominated in multiple events, but we don't see that sort of prowess in gymnastics. We got a little closer last year, but it was still like work capacity. You know what I mean? And we're getting there with like the handstand hold, right? Like how long? But those scores were so terrible.
Some were.
I mean, most were.
Are you good at holds, Tyler?
Yeah, I think I've held for. But it's like I'm not a games athlete, and I can hold.
No, I know, but you whatever you're good at, that's what you want to see more of.
Well, it's just that I see it's like I can't get stronger, and then I see that if I were at the games, I would be screwed because it's like strength is. It's not it's not 3/4 of it, but it's like this is a good 25% of the game's test strength, and it's not. You don't get the same thing with gymnastics prowess. So that's what I want to see. What does that look like? I don't know. I've thought about trying to program this before. Like, how do you program like 30 ring muscle ups? But you guys got my spiel on the ring muscle ups. Ring muscle ups are played out.
Played out? What do you mean?
Yeah, it's like, handstand push-ups, handstand, like we just lean on those so heavy. And it's like, why don't we have other movements that we're doing?
Well, it's another movement you want to do.
I've talked about doing backwards rolls. I've talked about doing back up rises. Like, I think
people would rip their shoulders out of place if we started doing those like really bad.
If we did it overnight, yes. But if we gave people a year to like, hey, this is coming.
No, I think regular people would try to do it though, and rip. So many injuries would happen from that.
You just got on. Go ahead.
The problem is we have that. It'll be one of those like skills tests where it's thrown on them the night before or the day of. Like, oh, here's what you're gonna do. Good luck.
Yeah.
They never give everybody a warning like that.
Right. And that's what I don't like is like if you had a whole year to work towards like getting a backwards uprise, stuff like that, Gridley.
What if you had like a tower you had to go up?
A tower.
Well,
like you had to do a ring muscle up and then there's a step. You got to get on that step and then you've got a bar muscle up your way up this step and then rope climb up a rope and you just climb this tower to the top of the tower. And it's just a bunch of different gymnastics things to get up there.
It'd be kind of cool. Yeah.
Like I don't want to say like the last thing in Ninja Warrior.
Rock climb would be cool to throw on that. That'd be neat.
You know, but like just a whole bunch of different things. You got to get to the tower, top of the tower, ring the bell. It's like the last thing in Ninja Warrior, but more CrossFitty.
Sure.
Like on the third floor, you had to do 5 deadlifts at 315 or something like that. You know what I mean? Like there's just a CrossFit kind of construction, if you will.
More gymnastics.
Gymnastics course would be cool. Like you got to do 10 ring muscle ups and then you proceed forward and you have to do like a 300-foot handstand walk, and then you proceed forward, and then you have to do like another thing. That'd be pretty neat.
Like a gymnastics burden run.
Yeah, that'd be pretty neat. And
like
then
a burden run, but just gymnastics events.
The one that I really kind of want to see, and I'm just going to go jump to my second one, is on the endurance side. I've always wanted to see, if you've watched the video at Rich's house where he had like a bunch of people there, like Jen Smith was there, Camille was there, Katrin was there, and they went like on a hike in the middle of the woods overnight. I've always thought it
camping with the they had that military guy, right?
Yes.
And the two groups go out
or whatever. Yeah. And I would just say, like, you need to give the athletes like a general direction and be like, you need to get to this place. And it's like 15 miles from here, and we're not telling you how to get there. And in between is like where they can run, where they can swim, and then like maybe they can find a bike or something. I don't know. But it's like I think it would be cool if they didn't have to swim. Like if they could take a gamble and be like, I can run around the pond. It might take me longer, but I'm a terrible swimmer. So it's like, I have to take this gamble versus like, I might just get in the water, like stuff like that, just general direction and go. It'd also be cool to see people completely lost on the map.
I don't disagree with you, but then it's like, are they fit or are they just lucky? Because there's going to be one route that's just faster. Like it just is. And the people that chose that route, they can be smarter, but does that mean they're fitter? Like they just kind of got lucky.
No, they would die.
Somebody would get lost for sure.
Oh yeah, and that's what I want to see is Brooke Wells off in the woods somewhere. Like
now, if you could do it though,
it'd be Sydney. Sydney Wells would be lost somewhere.
If you had GPS and you can watch a map of all these little dots, like spreading out, and see one go the opposite direction.
Now y'all are just talking about like the Hunger Games, just put them in a thing and just say battle to the death.
Because Chase can be sitting there and be like, man, this guy is way off the map.
Hey, Hunger Games, who would win? Hunger Games, guys and girls.
Hunger Games style.
Roman.
Yeah. Yep.
Absolutely. That's so great. It's great because it's true.
Roman and Arthur would be number 1 too.
Right. Oh man, that would be. You're so right. All right, for the women, I have no argument at all. There's nobody else.
Are there any good woodsy guys from the North America?
I mean, I feel like the Canadians have to be a little like that.
Yeah. You think I'd be hype on Jason? I'm hype on Jason all the time. He's dying in the Hunger Games. He's dying so fast.
I think Mertens would be all right.
Yeah, Colton be good.
I don't think he's beating Roman though.
Chandler's
a good one.
Chandler will be good on the on navigating his way back 15 miles.
Yeah. Man. All right, and then for the women,
Laura makes me feel good for some reason.
Clip that.
There's nobody that stands out like the men do.
No, it's 100% Roman by a long shot. Like he's wiping out half the field in the first day.
Yeah. John, what's your? Do you have a second one?
Yes. So my second one is endurance one. It would be. So I think Henshaw had this idea, so I'm gonna give him credit before I steal it. But I think he came up with this first, or I'm interpreting something that he did come up with. But you had all of the athletes, so you just would run one heat, 40 guys, 40 girls, not together, so they'd be each have their own heat, but all on a track. If you want to make the track bigger, you can. I don't know if Rogue can do that, but like to fit 40 people.
Rogue can do anything.
And then 200 meters, every 200 meters, so the last person gets cut. So it's going to end up being
it's like a beep test, but 200 meters.
But there's no going back. It's an 8,000 meter run, 8K run, right? So that's how many runs? 4.5 miles? I mean, 5 miles. It's a 5 mile run essentially. 5 mile run. every 200 meters, the last person gets cut. So you can run slow and then sprint, or you can just take off. Like if Ricky wants to run a 4:30 mile and just get a little bit of a lead on everybody and then just chill. There's no rules other than you can't throw somebody down. 200 meters, last person gets cut every single time. It would be a little bit, and they're chipped. So we're going off the chip as far as who gets cut. It'd be a little bit of chaotic at first. They'd have to figure out logistics. Dave, I'm going to put
how
you
do
in
you
charge
pull
of
them
that.
out?
So Dave, I know
tough.
you're another avid listener, Dave Castro. You need to figure out how to work that with 40 people.
What I've been told is that was one of the things he said in Columbus is how to work that out. So
that specific event.
That was what he was doing. Is
there you go. There you go,
Dallin.
Dallin. If you're still listening, avid listener, Dallin. He was on like 50 minutes ago. Like an hour, 30 minutes ago. But so maybe you go heats of 10, and then when it gets to 5 people, the last 5, then you're safe for the next round, and then you'll just go until you'll just do it again, and then it'll be 20 people on the last one. Maybe you do something, or like 4, and then the top 4 heats, and then it's 16 people or something like that. I actually think that would probably work a little bit better.
So I have a very similar format.
And then I don't know if I almost want to make the people who got eliminated, you have to run and be 400 meters like every minute 30 seconds, or not. Maybe that's too fast. Every 2 minutes. It's just something that makes you keep doing something. So if you're eliminated, you then have to run like 2 minutes. 2 minutes.
You have to finish it.
Yeah, you have to run until it's done. So you don't have to run 8,000 meters because they're obviously running faster than you, but you have to run until the 8,000 meters.
I think you have to finish the full 8,000 meters. It doesn't matter how long it takes you.
No. I want them to run slow and be eliminated. I want them to let everybody know this is the eliminated circle.
Yeah, but they have to run on the outside or whatever.
Yeah, they have to run on the outside.
They have to finish.
You've been banished.
Yes. And you don't have to run fast, but you have to hit. You have to hit it. Your chip needs to hit that marker every 2 minutes. So it's not like you have to still trot. Everybody can trot however long it takes for 40 minutes, right? Because that's what 5 miles.
If you don't, you got it.
Then you're out.
You're gone.
Cut from the games.
Yep.
So,
or they do this as like once everybody's cut, and it's like an event with the top 20, right? And then you can still implore the last thing.
Ooh, I like this. The 7 circles of hell. So you get kicked out a circle every time. You make that last circle, you're out of the games. I like this. This is cool.
No, I don't like that. No, you get banished to the outside, and then your chip has to be. It still has. It's got to go off at least before the 2 minute cutoff. And I mean, it would take a lot, but I think if logistically could pull it off, I think it would be so exciting, such an exciting event. And it's just people running around a track. It would cost nothing. It's just people running around a track. It just logistically, everything would have to be buttoned up to a T. Right.
I like this from the fantasy side too, because then it's literally a horse race.
Yes,
so you can have all kinds of bets.
And it's not like, Ricky's going to win because he's the best runner. Right? It's not necessarily like that. They could get to the last like 6, and then 5 of those guys might just
They're
be
all
able to
gaming each other,
or just sprint. Yeah. They just sprint him, and then it's done. It's not like he just holds a better pace. It's all 200 meters, and I think you'd have different strategies too. You know what I mean? I think some people just run a really hard first mile and get a lead. I think there'd be a main group, like a peloton, if you will, of runners. Where
until it starts getting close.
Yeah, you just run real slow until you get 50 meters there, then everybody sprints, and then you run real slow again. Like I think I could see a lot of people doing that. And then you just always got that outside circle of all the people that got abandoned, all the losers, and they just have to watch. They get front row seats to the event as they running their slow 400 meters. And I like as a visual, I think that would be so much fun.
So we're very similar.
You need to lift more. I know you make fun of me for lifting too much, but
so this morning, Concept 2 put out I think it was a tweet that said, like, what erg would you like to see programmed at the games? And what I said that this morning was,
have you checked lane 8?
No, Concept 2 is different.
Right.
They have official events. I said a 4K into a 40K bike erg.
4K run?
No, biker.
Or
it's like the half marathon, like the half marathon row.
Yeah.
Row where it was a 2K into
like a
it.
Blast.
So again, it's not a spec.
4K
it's not,
is a little too much though.
Why? It's the same as a 2K.
It's different. It hits your body different. I get what you're saying.
So how fast can you do a 4K?
Biking it's much different than
how fast would you do a 4K?
I mean
6 minutes.
6 minutes. Yeah, I mean it'd be similar. It'd be similar times. I'm just telling you how it hits your body is much different.
Your quads, yeah.
It's like because you can sprint a bike very, very, very hard for 2,000 meters, like almost like 100% capacity. But once you cannot do that sprint, it's like way different than a 2K row. Because a 2K row, you're pushing the pace on a 2K row basically the whole time. It's just different. I don't know. I
like it though, because you can.
I like it though. Yeah.
If you're like Griffin, like you're not going to win that 40, so just win the 4.
Yeah,
right. I know Griffin's not going to the games, but an athlete like him.
So that was my morning workout that I had come up with. Then when John brought up, let's talk about this, I came up with something different that's more John style, and that's still on the biker because I wanted to keep that. But
no, I love that event. 4K is probably the right distance. Now I think about it, it's just I don't think it would hit the same as a 2K rower, like on the lungs.
No, but your legs would be fried. Then you're like, I got 36,000 more of these things to do.
It'd be way more muscular.
So I kept with the biker. I did an elimination style just like you, John, but it was every 1,000 meters, somebody got cut. So you have the big monitor.
After the 4K?
No, this is a different thing. So I came up with that, but then I came up with, it's kind of like a 2A, 2B. So that was one of my thoughts this morning replying to Concept 2. And then when you asked the question, I came up with something different, and that is elimination style. I've always wanted to see that of every 1,000 meters, somebody gets kicked off the back.
Oh, I like that so much better because you know how hard that first 1K is going to be.
Right.
That first 1,000 meters is going to be so hard.
Yeah,
they're going to kill themselves, and then
what do you do? Like
it'll hit a breaking point. Like around like 5K, everything will slow down, and then it will be endurance. But it won't until 5K, and then it's
holy cow. That would be interesting, but it's like the athletes they can't see each other, so it's blind.
No, because they have those monitors
in the marathon row.
Even with the monitors, you can't really focus on it that great. Like there's so many people, so it's like the only thing you're watching for is that I'm not last, and so you're just freaking out the whole time, and there's just a point where you're like, I'm not going to be able to go anymore. I'm done.
But if you're Roman, like if you say you're a guy that's really good, right?
Yeah.
On the bike. If he's like, okay, I'll just hold a hard pace for 10K, and then I'll see where I'm at, and then kind of play games after that. Like it won't be chaos for him because he'll just do a hard 10K, and then it's endurance after that. There's not any sprinting or killing people after that point.
John, what do you think about this? That the heaviest guy has a massive advantage on the biker.
Not in the long distance. Yeah.
No, I think it's different than like the rower or a ski erg. Like it's a different animal.
It's not unwatchable.
Echo bike, I would agree. But 40,000 meters, I think takes the big guy advantage out.
Yeah, it's like an 80-minute workout probably.
Don't get me wrong, like the first 5K are probably all going to be like the littlest guys. Like Colton's probably getting last on that because it's literally just who can pump the bike the hardest.
Yeah.
And those, that it is an advantage for the first 5K. But then after that, endurance takes over. There will be a breaking point with that, where then it's just endurance and what pace can you hold, and instead of just power output. And
every 2 minutes you'd have a race basically.
And that will be who can recover the best too, which is all endurance.
And it's computerized, so there's no question about who crosses first, or like they're all calibrated. It highlights whatever the last person is you kicked off, and then, like to John's point, it was like you still need to complete the 40,000 meters, so you have another row of bikes in the back. Go and finish your 40,000 meters in a certain amount of time. Right, you don't get out of it. You don't just do 1,000 meters and then not do anything. You still have to do something. But
you could do hold a 135 to 145 pace, and that's it.
That'd be rough for 40,000 meters.
No. Just who can hold it the longest.
Oh, yeah.
That
the commonality,
but not knowing where everybody is, that would take that out. So like, you just hold 135, 145. The second your bike hits 146, there's a big red buzzer that goes off. and then you're out. Right?
Trapdoor, you fall through the floor.
No, not trapdoor, but big red buzzer over your head. 135 to 145 pace.
I think that rewards though the strength athletes, like the fast twitch.
At the end.
I mean, I don't know how long they would last. Like how long could you go at a 135 pace or 145?
I don't know. I've never tried it. I don't know.
I
think they'd be better at it than I would, though. Like, I think their fitness would overtake any power that I have. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where I think I could make 10 people on the 1K elimination, and then my endurance would lead to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What's interesting, the commonality between both of you is that it's brute, like longevity almost, for even like with the overhead squat. It's like besides the total, everything has been like how much can you do, which they tend to not program that way. Like you're both saying,
this is what I want.
Like,
it's not what I think will happen.
But it's funny because it's like we don't do that at all, and it's like the fix is you have to finish the 40 or you have to finish the run. But it's like, it goes back, it harkens back to the style of programming with Dave, of like, let me see what your body is physically capable of lasting. Whereas Boz is more, let me see what you're physically capable of in your skills.
Right.
Yeah. So it's just an interesting note.
I've always wanted a death by.
Yeah.
Like I've always wanted a true death by. When we saw the swim ski last year, that's what I thought we were getting. Like, and it wasn't, right. It ended up being just whatever the last two were. I thought they're just going to keep going. Like, how long can you go and finish the number of calories you needed? And then it stopped after round 8 and it was done. So that was kind of my thought, is that's where I was kind of going with that, was it's kind of a death by. It's survive, outlast the other person, and just stay ahead of them.
Right.
And make them fight for it. So
like the snatch event at Rogue that one year with the 95-pound snatches. Y'all remember that? And Bellner beat everybody by like 15 reps. I think Sam Briggs beat everybody by like 30 reps because they didn't know where everybody was.
Yeah.
Like that was super fun. And it was just 95-pound power snatches. But this time you would know where people are. It's not like they didn't know where everybody was.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've always, what I like about both of your events is they're very simple. Like, you just need to survive. And to me, CrossFit loses it when it makes complicated workouts. Like, well, you got to do this for so many reps and that for so many reps. And it's like, no, just sit on a bike and make sure you don't get slow. And see if your legs are fitter than everyone else. Your legs and your lungs are fitter than everybody else. It's like there's this, I've always said, it's like the schoolyard, like, can you pick up this rock? Can you pick up 2 rocks now? Can you pick up 3 rocks? Like, very basic. Anybody who's walking down the street can be like, oh, I get that. That guy's better because he lasted longer. And it's like, that's, you know, we have these ways that we do things that I think aren't the most enjoyable to people who don't know the sport. And it's like, it'd actually be more enjoyable for the people who do know the sport. You just want to see how much someone could do.
Yeah. And you just focus on those. You'd have like 3 cameras of those last 3 people and tell them which 3 to go to and watch them fight for that over, you know, when they hit that 1K, and then go shift to the next one. I mean, you keep 2 of the 3 would stay on, right? Because they're still probably nearing elimination, but can they go outpace somebody next? To do that.
That's the key is for any of these events is where watching the people who are about to fall off. You have your camera crew has to be on that. Like if your production crew's not on it, you're gonna miss it totally.
Yeah.
For the people who are at home.
But you have the concept to monitor that has all that,
right?
And so it's easy to see, and put a camera in their face and watch them just grind it. So.
What would y'all think? This event just pops in my head. I know I'm going off on a tangent. What would y'all think of this event if they did every minute on the minute? So it'd be a short event. Every minute on the minute. Okay. 10 wall balls. Let's go 15 wall balls. 15 wall balls with 10 pounds. And then
for the men?
Yep. And then after 2 minutes, and the women, after 2 minutes, it's 15 wall balls at 20 pounds. After 2 minutes, it's 15 wall balls at 30 pounds. After 2 minutes, it's 15 wall balls at 40 pounds. At 2 minutes, it's 15 wall balls with 50 pounds.
And there's no way you could do it.
Okay, well then it would end at 40, but and then you go until the last man's done. It would be like 12 minutes.
It needs tweaking, but I like the idea. It needs a tweak, but I like the idea.
Or you could go 15 wall balls, keep it 2014, just what we normally do, okay? Not even heavy. 15 wall balls a minute for 2 minutes, and then after the 2 minute mark, it goes to 11 foot, and you just have to hit this like line that they just hologram.
Raising the bar would be
2 minutes, it'd be 12 feet, and after 2 minutes, it'd be 13 feet. After 2 minutes, it'd be 14 feet.
They're just
and then you just
as
and
hard
then you
as
just
they
go.
can.
You just don't like. You don't like
What?
Colton. You don't like Colton.
Yeah.
This is not a Colton event. I won't. I think it'd be really cool to see, though. You know what I mean? I mean, they're both a little power output, so you can do it however you want to. But, and like with the height, that's repeatable. You could do that in your gym. I like events that you could do in your gym. You know what I mean? Where the people can compare themselves to games athletes. Like, because you're always going to have this guy that's freaky at wall balls, right? And then
it would get so high, you would have to start throwing it backwards.
15
There's
in
no
a
way
row.
you could do it forward.
Well, here's the thing, you'll get less rest because it's every minute on the minute, and 15-foot wall balls take a little bit longer than 10-foot wall balls. Like, you get less and less rest. It would build where they couldn't do it. I don't think it would get as high as you think. Go ahead and mark 15 feet and then do 15 wall balls and tell me
I don't think my gym's tall enough.
How long it would take. Go to a side of the building. Just measure something and do it. It's not that hard.
I remember when we had Outway.
I remember when your mic
Boston.
All on a wall ball.
Can you repeat it, Brian? We lost you.
Now we can't hear you. We can see your mouth moving, but we can't hear you.
What?
Okay, now we can hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, something happened with my internet.
We can hear you.
No, Rudy at Outlaw Way did that. Like, he measured how fast the ball, like how long the ball would be in the air versus how long you squat. And like, technically, you could be faster as a short person because the gravity was faster.
Right.
The wall ball coming down, but you just weren't as good at them because you got more tired. So you could do that and see how long it would take for a wall ball to come down after 15
You don't think that would be a fun event though, just to see?
Oh, it would be.
And it's short. Yeah. It's 12 minutes. Like, you're not getting further than. I don't think you get that far. I really don't.
Yeah.
Because again, it's 15 wall balls every. So what's 15 wall balls? It's like about 30 seconds, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's less than that.
At first, it's very easy, right? But so if you go the 30-pound, 40-pound, 50-pound way, I don't think people are doing 40-pound wall balls 15 in a row. I just don't think they're going to make it. You know what I mean?
Not after that volume, no.
No. And say the women start at like 8 and then 10, 16. I mean, you can do it however you want to do it. Or 14. I don't know. However you want to do it. You can do it however you want to do it. But with the height, 30 seconds would be 35 seconds for 12 feet, would be 40 seconds for 13 feet, 14 feet. And then like you've done 120 wall balls, and now you have to do 15 wall balls at 15 feet. I don't think it's going to, people aren't going to go forever. You know what I mean? Yeah, I think 15 feet is at the 10-minute mark.
John, this is why it's good that you and I are in the same gym, because I would totally do this stuff, and then we'd both hurt ourselves.
Matt, you gotta catch up, man. We got a bike erg one. Followed that.
I'll wait for this wall ball one, Mike. It's gonna blow, Matt, it's gonna blow your socks off.
All right. I don't have anything else.
So we covered it all.
Yeah. Good show. We did find out, if you were watching or catching up, that there will be a cut to 20 athletes after Saturday. He didn't say anything about cutting down to 30, though, right? It was just the 20.
Somebody in the comments said cutting to 30 at the end of Friday.
I saw that. I
don't
follow up and
confirm,
find
but
that.
somebody said it. It's like they heard it somewhere. But
yeah,
for sure, 20 at the end of Saturday.
Yep.
You know that's a Dave call. You know that's not a Bosman call.
I don't know. They cut last year.
Yeah, my guess is it has something to do with the events that are being there, and the timing, and making sure everything gets done. So there's something going to happen Sunday. They're like, logistically wasn't going to work.
Yeah.
So
boxing.
But other than that,
you can't have 40 people boxing.
Yep. There's a question on the grips. We know we're cutting down to 20. The proven women are two of the women that should have been able to compete at the individual games, or we wish they should have been able to. And yeah, a couple good workouts that maybe Boz will listen to one day.
Also an avid listener, Adrian Botsman.
Yep, Yep, listens every time. He just doesn't comment. So
Roman wins the Hunger Games. Those are the takeaways.
Yeah, Roman wins the Hunger Games.
Yeah,
I would root for Emma Carey so hard in the Hunger Games. She would be Katniss for me.
She's the one who she's the girl who hides. Like you don't see her for 3 days.
Hold on,
she hides in the tree.
I'm gonna look at the games women field and just give my.
I think. Does Danielle win Hunger Games?
No.
She gets in a fight too much with somebody and then dies because she's.
You gotta be social. Everybody would kill her first.
Emma Carey lives based on attrition. She just lets everybody else kill her.
One of the first ones to die.
Man and Anganese.
There you go.
I'm gonna say Amanda Barnhart.
I'll go with Manon.
Who are the Aussie women going?
Emily DeRoy, Jamie Simmons.
Yeah, people who don't know.
The Aussie women. One of the Aussie women. They their entire life walking outside.
Would you pick Tia if Tia was there?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, probably. Probably.
Ricky'd be a good one.
Ricky's not beating Roman.
That dude can survive on boats alone.
Dude.
All right. That's
a good way to end it.
I wish we could put it in the computer and just see what happens.
A simulation.
Yes. Yeah. Ooh, Ellie Turner. That's a good call. SEMA.
Yeah.
She would have Justin protecting her. Justin would kill all the women, so Ellie Turner could win, and then that's probably what would happen. I think that's what I'm calling. Yeah, Ellie Turner would win because Justin would kill all the women, unless Amanda could get him. Amanda might be able to. Yeah. Okay. All right.
All right, guys.
Okay, bye.